Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey users and subscribers, welcome back to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. Okay, we are going to review the recent interview on Andre Stevens's program with Team Matto. Now, Matto was invited onto the program, I am pleased to say. Yeah, that is good. That is a good move. And as he is somebody on the ground, he is going to bring definitely different perspectives into the matter, and he certainly did. Well, people, I do have some critical questions to ask. Matto made reference to the fact that he believes that Jaden was murdered in the house on Thursday night. He also made reference to the fact that blood was found on the premises in the family yard, and that they dismissively told the police that this belonged to an animal, like a goat or something like so. Now, I don't know if there is much clarity around whether or not it was a goat giving birth or if it was a goat that was slaughtered. But according to Matto, it implies that they said the animal gave birth. And Matto was giving some details on the fact that there's usually minimal blood when these natural occurrences take place. He also went on to speak on the fact that the police did not handle the crime scene properly, that there were no forensics done on the blood that was witnessed on the ground in the yard. Now remember, I said yesterday that one of the biggest reasons why justice will be next to impossible will be the fact that the police have dragged their feet and have been incompetent in handling the crime scene. So all of this is presenting itself yet once again. The conversation went on where he insisted that Thursday night is when something happened, by Matto making reference to the fact that he got a hold of Shanique's arrival time in the country. He claimed she arrived in Montego Bay at 9:05 a.m. And if this is the case, it would have given her ample time between 9 and 2 o'clock to do whatever it is that she needed to do. Now, when Andre inquired about how he knew this as a fact, he said the information was sent to him and he has it in his phone. Now, you know how I work. I work on the basis of facts. And I would have requested that this information be passed on so that it can be shown that it is actually a factual piece of information that was passed and not just somebody hearsay that's passing this information on to Matto. Because if it is something that's legally documented that he received, that information should have gone to the police. Well, this is what he's claiming, that Shanique arrived at 9:05 and not what was previously said in this interview. Take a listen.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Doing the best I
don't
can.
know. I don't know. I have a quick question. Where is your baby father living?
My husband lives with me, but he's away in military training. He left the Tuesday when the incident happened the Thursday. And during training, he doesn't have any, he can't have his...
No, I'm not saying you have anything. So
No, I'm saying he can't have his phone.
Yeah, so your husband left the Tuesday, you said, correct?
Well, the Monday.
The Monday. And you went to Jamaica the Thursday, correct?
No, the Friday.
The Friday. And Jaden was in school the Friday, correct?
Correct.
So I am kind of, I'm just thinking, I am saying Jaden was here Thursday and then you went to Jamaica and Jaden is now missing. Okay. Then the grandmother, I heard a different, I listened to the recording from the beginning. So now what your grandmother is saying is two different stories.
No, you cannot say that. And it's not grandmother.
I'm saying what I'm hearing. No, I'm saying what I heard. I listened to the tape recording. So between Friday and Saturday, something is not correct.
Alright, so I
Something
can
is not
join the
correct.
live late. I think
And I'm gonna say it like this: you and your grandmother, the
My
father.
grandmother, I'm the mother.
I'm not
I'm
telling the
Shanique's
truth
mother.
because there's a God. I'm praying.
and we're very much
And
aware of that.
justice,
And
no,
our
justice
heart
will
is
serve.
clear and
Justice
clean.
will serve. Remember,
And I really
God
hope that
sits
when
high,
all of this is
God
over,
looking low, God is gonna bring justice. For
that is
me, when
true.
you guys gonna say Jaden look like he's taking drugs or what, Jaden don't look like a chubby
And that is
child.
me talking outside of the box, and I'm sure I explained that
And
to you because
Jaden,
that
at the
is
picture,
not
I'm looking at the
normal.
picture. This boy look
Yes,
very
sweetheart, and
stressed.
you're
Like he's a man in the house. He looks stressed. You guys can come out here and say and talk nice and sweet, but Jaden look like he's so
Jayden picture
tired.
tell 1,000 words in the picture.
I can show
You're
you pictures from
judgmental.
Jaden was 5 or 6
Listen,
years
I'm a
old.
preacher. I'm a prophetess.
No, you
And then
can't.
and
You
you
could
come
never
on
be a
and
very
preacher. You
proud.
could never be
I'm
a
not
preacher.
being
you're
judgmental.
not being
I
judgmental.
am
Yes, you
not
are.
being judgmental.
Yes, you are. You're
The
not
Bible says, leave
And like
all,
I
the
said,
Bible
God
says, leave
is
all
gonna
judgment to
bring
me, and you are
justice.
judging us.
Just
Thank you guys for having us, and we're gonna come out now because this is why we did not want to come out, because we're not here for
Look at him,
that.
look at him, man. Shanique, listen, Shanique, listen, darling. Listen, darling, listen.
It's freedom to speak, but she's attacking. It's not everybody else was here just asking us questions. We're here.
I realized that the mute her.
That's why he mute her, alright? We are here with you and mommy.
Good evening, everyone.
We are here with you and mommy, and we really appreciate it that somebody came out.
While Jaden at school, yes,
Shanique and her friend named Tommy we live in our area so was poetry at the same time. Go freshen up because you know carry no clothes for firing. So he just go as poetry up the tell about for me white boss.
yeah, but what about time?
You know, I really remember time like that now already early morning. Early morning part.
No, what we're talking about the time now when Jaden supposed to that school. Yes, until him got the local fast food place. Yes, and at that time you now were on the road.
Yes.
Hustling. Yes, and so that's a now. But where were Shanique at the time?
Shanique and Tommy that's
At that
poetry.
time.
Yes, that's poetry.
So when my cousin got to Jamaica to relieve my aunt from the hospital, because when she landed in Montego Bay, she landed after 2 in Montego Bay. From Montego Bay to Mandeville is like a 3 hours drive. She went straight to Mandeville so she could relieve my auntie so she could go home from the hospital. That was Friday night. So she got to the hospital around after 7 p.m. When my aunt went home, that's when she realized that Jaden is not home. That's when the discovery was made that Jaden did not reach home from school.
He later on went on to speak about the fact that the taxi driver that took Jaden to school on the Friday morning was a myth. That none of this actually took place. That the entire family is lying. That Mr. T's claimed that he made breakfast for Jaden, and then also the contradictory statement of Demar that he made breakfast for Jaden confirms that the whole story was concocted. We already arrived at that conclusion when we listened to the two accounts, but let me remind you.
That all them are a confess.
Because all this put on the media, you know, so like say, your mother, you know, they dead, you know, when the baby foot broken.
He was there.
You know, come out on the news, you know.
Well, that's how she said.
She just said like she was there. So even at that letter to the statement, when you come and get down, I want different statement from the lady.
The whole of the day in here. Whole of the day in here. Because me got shop come back and then that will happen. So who are left the hospital and something. Me just pass in the car, Jaden just pass in the car. Me get up the morning, me go tie out boat. Me never see Jaden in the bathroom and being get up. Me make Jaden breakfast and go tie out boat and left it. And when me tie out the boat, my father shout and tell me saying God. Left Jaden out the road, with the taxi, and he Jaden.
Yeah, when I say General Price, I make breakfast, you know. When you hear the wrong thing, them when I say him, them I say I make the breakfast, alright.
1,500 I never had not. I think me get up the morning, me go tie out boat. Me never see Jaden in the bathroom and being get up. Me make Jaden breakfast and go tie out boat and left it there. And when me tie out the boat, my father shout and tell me saying God. Left Jaden out the road with a taxi and he Jaden 1,500 I never had no change. Jaden turn up her road after school.
Alright, so in a year here now, because you're Jaden a family, obviously. In a year here now, what do you think Jaden did this evening?
No,
You're in the first place, not coming to your mind.
we think him still up a Perth road, because up this, so we there, wow, long, because one up this,
General, unmute your mic. General Price, talk to me. Unmute. It's what I want.
That are the same place when we get to them.
I no change. Jaden turn up the road after school. Alright, so
Go that first road I wait for him.
Then I came down. I called my husband when he reached home, and I said to him, no, he called me and asked me how much is Jaden's lunch money. I said, give Jaden $1,200. He turned to me and said he doesn't have a $200, so he's going to give Jaden $1,500. I said, okay, no problem. My husband cooked the morning when he went up back and give Jaden cooked food to go to school. 6:30 they left the house and they went out the road. And my husband carried kids to school, so he dropped Jaden at the roadside at the shop and went to the opposite direction to pick up his kids to bring to the school.
A lot of fingers were pointed towards the principal. In Matto's explosive interview, he said very conclusively that the principal was the main instigator of the stories or the narrative that has been sent out to the public. That the mere fact that Anne called the principal immediately after the situation with Jaden, this is where she got the idea from to state the things she said in the public in order to avert justice. When prompted by Andre as to what the motive would have been for the principal to do this act, Matto confirmed that the family knew the principal quite intimately and that it is their close relationship that has led to the principal assisting with covering up the case. He then added, allegedly. Now, these are in fact very, very serious allegations, as Andre said, and something that can be taken up as defamation if it isn't clear that Matto is alleging this. But anyway, the principal definitely continues to be a questionable character. The things he said in that interview were far too intricate and too well woven together, like a pre-written story, as though he wanted to account for every single detail that may be questioned by the police. The number one thing that comes to mind is him claiming that Jaden had survival skills in order to emphasize that he was in fact a runaway and nothing else had taken place that was sinister.
So came up empty today again. We were very hopeful that we would have found Jaden today, because conclusively I can speak to some of the alerts that we got earlier in the week about him being seen, although some persons are adamant that they would have seen him in their surroundings. So quite evident he has been moving around the town of Mandeville. Can't say what his base is. But as far as last night is concerned, after 6, I got a call. This now is one of our workers at Manchester High School who knows him well, would have seen him on Wesley Road, that's in the vicinity of the school. They raised an alarm, and she said if she had gotten help at the same time, they could have gotten him, but she wasn't quick enough. So, because when they raised the alarm, he started to run. And then it was getting dark, he disappeared in some bushes, and we conducted a search, but it would have been difficult because that was night. So given that situation, and we could confirm that he's in that locality, we arranged a massive party today with students and the firefighters and the police, and media was there, and we combed that entire area. Grove Road, Newley Road, Wesley Road, Wesley Avenue, and we came up short. So,
if I could just follow, was the staff member able to say what he was wearing, how he was attired at the time when she saw him?
Yes, ma'am. She gave a very, because I was about 20 minutes away, so I would have rushed, had some delays in the traffic, and I got there. They couldn't see him again, but she saw him in his same uniform as posted in the picture, school uniform, shirt, something just the same, knapsack on his back. But this time she said he had another bag in his hand as well, so they are surmising that maybe he was heading towards the town to get food or something, because he would have been about less than 5 minutes now from the nearest food place on Wesley Road. Because some of his classmates who we spoke with Monday morning, they were with him at Little Caesars in Mandeville. That's a pizza place, quite popular, and they had good interactions. They were sharing meals with him and so on, and The only thing they said is that he ate more than he would have normally eaten, and they all left him there because he told them that he had something else to do in Mandeville. But they would not have suspected anything based on out of the ordinary. Just he ate a lot and he still carried food with him when we checked the footage. But what I can say is whereabouts after that.
So that sounds like, and just based on what you said to me, that sounds like he was preparing himself not to go home.
Clearly, that we can conclude for sure. We were saying today that, and he's part of the cadet unit as well, but boy, his survival skills are excellent because he has been seen at so many different places. And yesterday, the distance that he ran, when I checked that has to be somebody with a lot of energy still to be able to run all that distance and then disappear. And so he's quite elusive, but clearly, and then he had extra money as well. So his guardian would have said that he took out his savings as well, and that was against the plan that they had for the savings that he had. So clearly he had a plan, but nobody knew.
So this was
Principal Gabriel. This is a 12-year-old boy. What is he afraid of, such that he would prepare himself to be on the run?
Matto claimed he did a demonstration by the family home that was separate and apart from the march for Jayden, although there seems to be no documented evidence of this presented on the media. When asked whether or not the case being closed was declared by Andre, Matto referred to the Gleaner and the newspaper articles that stated that this was the case. Now, just a reminder of the articles themselves, they never came out and said that the case was closed, but they gave an indication that there were no leads to follow and that they had hit a brick wall in the investigation process. In layman's terms, them don't know what else to do, and as a result, they might as well stop. So yeah, they may not have said it in so many words, but it implies that there is a stall. Now, he was questioned about the lawyer after Matto claimed that as a result of his lawyer, no, it's not Jaden Smith's lawyer anymore, it's his lawyer, coming on the case, she forced them to reopen it. I'm not certain if Matto really understands legislation and how it works, especially when dealing with a foreign lawyer in Jamaica. I am not certain he fully gets exactly what the processes are. I mean, in terms of reopening a case that has not been declared closed. Quite possibly, this lady that he refers to as the lawyer, she probably helped to keep the information fresh in the media, writing letters or possibly articles for the paper. But I'm not certain how Team Matto has her as a lawyer in the case when she is a paralegal by profession in Cayman. But anyway, he insisted this was his lawyer. And he insisted that it is because of her efforts that the case has been brought back to the fore. All right. So there were several references made to the various witnesses who claimed they saw Jayden here, they saw Jayden there, they saw Jayden everywhere, none of whom have come forward. Matto claimed he had a non-profit organization offering $500,000 as reward for any of these witnesses to come forward, and that to date, nobody has come forward. Interestingly, it's the first time hearing about this $500,000 reward, and it is certainly not very well advertised or promoted, despite all the various articles that have come out in the paper that no doubt his lawyer probably had something to do with. Why was this not placed as priority to encourage witnesses to come to the front of the class? That one is a little bit beyond me. But he's claiming he has an NGO, and he's claiming this NGO is offering of $500,000. Boy, people, me can't work with hearsay, you know. A lot of allegations going around, but these are things that we already suspected. These are things we already discussed. It's once again rehashing the things that we already know, that there have been evident lies, and these people who claim that they are witnesses, they are literally non-existent in terms of being public speakers on the matter. Now, there was one thing that Matto said that really caught my interest, and it's the fact that he reached out to the principal to confirm whether or not Jaden Smith was in school via the actual camera footage, to which the principal responded aggressively and was clearly not interested in producing. In other words, the man get bringle and say, listen, yeah, pass your place, don't ask me for no footage or whatever. And felt he had no obligation to do so. Probably if it was Team Matto or any person that was not of legal capacity. He's saying that the police have questioned the principal along the same lines and were met with resistance. Now, excuse me. If this is true, this is not highly suspicious, people. And why would the police have to be at the mercy of a principal for the footage that's related to a potential crime, when certainly you should be able to seize the camera footage on the basis of a simple search warrant? All you'd have to do is to get a search warrant signed by a JP or a magistrate, and you'll be able to get that camera footage regardless of whether or not the principal wants to offer that footage voluntarily. Now, I want you to really think about this. Given the fact that so much time has passed, where that camera footage would have been in the possession of this alleged corrupt principal, do you genuinely believe that footage now has not been tampered with? Or some excuse might manifest as to whether or not the recording was working at the time? Listen, everything that is happening now and everything that is being discussed is going to point to one direction, and that is proving the mishandling of the case. Andre needs to look into the allegations with regards to the connection of the principal with the family members. That is a very key point to explore, because remember, the property that they claimed Shanique went to change her clothes, according to Mr. T, was owned by their boss. Who is this boss? Make it explicitly clear if this boss was in fact the principal. And if this was the principal, why were they so familiar to have access to his property, have keys to his property in their possession, to the point where Shanique can freely go there in order to refresh herself? Are her clothes staying there? How deep is the connection between the principal and Shanique?
I don't call the farm teacher nor the guidance counselor because she have Mr. Gabriel number in her breast pocket.
So the principal are the boss. So
yes. The principal are the boss.
So the girl go be here, and the boss yard.
Aye! We don't know get it. Here one house out of spiritual where the woman are the keeper. Because it look like him and the woman gonna go sleep when they want to sleep. Let me talk with this.
So that's why the people in the school. That's why the people in the school.
I call the mama, call the daddy, and tell him, say, look on the dresser, in the jar, looking at the jar, and take out the key.
Now remember, she claimed that the child had broken his femur, and that this child ended up in hospital. The treatment for a broken femur lasts several weeks, with a child in cast. Where did the child go afterwards? Has the child since been taken out of the country? Who kept the child in St. Anne, where it is alleged the child was moved to. The next person I am waiting to see if they appear on the interviews with Andre is J-Pro. As J-Pro received footage of Shanique partying for Halloween after this whole incident as though nothing was amiss. It is imperative that the sources in America who witness Shanique's movements give ear as to what kind of suspicious behavior they may have witnessed, if any. Remember, extraditing for an investigation is not an impossibility. Why have the police not done this act, and why have they not declared it in their statements? I have given you examples where the police have been very explicit about the things they have done in the search for justice, where bodies were present on the crime scene. There is no reason for them to not be equally explicit with this case of a missing child. So the fact that their reports are vague and generalized implies to me that there is a cover-up on the lack of efficiency and proficiency when it came to following up on the potential crime scene, the witnesses and suspects. Now, Andre has asked for the principal, Shanique, and family members of Jaden who had him in their guardianship to come forward to his program to talk. I will watch with bated breath to see if they dare to push their heads out. Something tells me they will not, especially that principal. He will not do it. This is a man who feels he is untouchable and does not believe he is obligated to the court of public opinion. Don't forget, the only time he came out was when we pressed his ego on social media, and the rumor was flying about that he was suspended. He wanted to taunt and jeer and mock the public with a smile on his face to let us know nothing can go so.
This picture was posted on every media platform where information is disseminated electronically or otherwise in the second half of 2025.
I'm standing here in 2F at the Manchester High School. Had Jaden Smith still been around, this would have been his classroom. Jaden was only 1 month into the start of the school term back in September, coming from his primary school when he disappeared. The question is still being asked, where is Jaden?
It has been a question on my mind for the past couple of months. A promising young man with a bright future. And the only thing I can say, God is still in control. We miss him dearly.
It's a matter that has not died with the year past, and this school family has only positive expectations for the missing teen.
Lord, wherever he is and whatever happened, justice will come out. And it's been so long. I don't know what to tell my students these days. I don't know what to tell any relative that comes by. And so it's just always like an open wound.
Principal Jasford Gabriel is finally hitting back at those who have placed him on the receiving end of open rebuke.
I've been very silent on the matter. About, a lot has been said in social media about the involvement of the principal. I just want to dispel every rumor and everything that has been said. They are all false in relation to my involvement with the case.
He says the criticism is misplaced and out of focus, fanning the wrong flame.
Here am I. Social media also said I was locked up, I was out of the country, could not return. These are things that were told to me because persons who have productive things to do don't really have a lot of time to be following much of what social media is saying, But the bigger issue is, we are hopeful that Jaden will return to us. And as a school, we remain committed to supporting whatever legitimate efforts are being made.
He's now warning the social media community.
I think I need to respond and do whatever is necessary to try and clear my name in the matter. And with God's grace, we just want Jaden back.
or to get some kind of closure to this matter, because it is still weighing heavily on the school community.
They say Jaden was a flower in this garden, but now they're all saying, I am sorry. Sorry because Jaden is not here.
It was only on this occasion that we witnessed evidence of the loss of Jaden in the school, with teachers speaking out and showing even displays where they were reminiscing on the quality of student that is no more at Manchester High School. This is a man that will not regard any platform or any social media personality as somebody of value that he needs to report to. The only way to get the principal to speak will be through legal means. In other words, you have to carry them money to court for good reason. He is highly regarded by his community and has had an impact on many lives in a positive manner. This person is the least suspicious by those who feels as though he is a good man, and therefore they will not stand by and allow you to tarnish the principal's name. I said the amount of rush me get for this man, I'm telling you, it is clear that he is loved by many. Remember, the court of public opinion is very different from the court of law. And when it comes to getting justice for Jaden, everything that is presented as evidence needs to be watertight. There can't be any holes in the evidence. There can't be any hearsay. There can't be any wishy-washy presentation of facts. It has to be airtight in order for somebody to be either arrested or charged. Now, what I am picking up from the articles that were sent out via the police is that nothing that they have come up with is concrete enough to hold on to anybody. It makes matters worse when they don't have a body or evidence of a crime having taken place. So no matter the passion, no matter the hurt, no matter the anger of the public, when it comes to moving towards a conviction, moving towards some kind of arrest and charge, you have to be systematic, logical, and clear. Otherwise, the system will make a mockery out of you.
We need justice, real justice we need. Justice we need. One bag of furniture. And on a 30 grand bed in there and a 30 grand dresser. And a 30 grand fridge and a 30 grand rat nut. And a 30 grand and a 10 grand night table, touch lamp. Everybody, flat cream in there, mash up, flood out the shit water and gully water. Nobody not come for look. Uncle the cameraman, it can't work, so we need justice! Justice! We need justice! We need justice! Over the yard there and the other yard, we need it.
I was pleased to see that in this interview with Team Matto, Andre resisted the political spiel and he focused just on the fact that a child has been missing for far too long with no firm investigatory conclusion, with no leads to this date, and that in itself is a huge injustice on the Jamaican people. Yeah man, I saw you for do it. Allow out the whole thing about wholeness and rare, because this is not a political matter. This is about something that can happen to any of our children. But you know, to be poor is a crime in a country like Jamaica especially. Because we all know that if Jaden Smith was some Tapanaris Pitney, none of this would need to drag out for so long. Something would have happened quick and fast. And while Andre continues his probe, I will continue to declare it is imperative that we also hold to consequence those who have failed Jaden in the system and in his family. Because regardless of whether or not we end up with some kind of charge or arrest, these people have additional charges on their head to be incurred. And that is the complete slackness with which the whole investigation took place. the delays that were crucial in terms of being hot on the beat, which facilitated all kinds of further lies and alibis to be built. And of course, the complete lack of transparency with the investigation process to put the public at ease that something is being done. And when the incompetency is clearly highlighted, we need to see demotions, suspensions, and even firing. We also need to see urgent reform taking place with Jamaica's adoption framework. Now, a recent article did come out from the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, stating exactly this, that the laws around Jamaica's adoption framework were outdated, that there were weak governance structures and administrative delays. So it really is something that we need to look into, that children don't just get handed off, pawned off to auntie, uncle, and anybody else just because of difficulty, without support, without monitoring and evaluation, and without follow-up visits to ensure that those children are being looked after safely. Because if we don't, we are going to see more repetitive cases like Jayden's, where children in care of those who are not their parents end up in situations of neglect and abuse. And this is not to say that biological parents cannot do the same, but it is proven in statistics that children in the care of an adopted family, stepchildren, are of higher probability of getting ill-treated than those who are raised by their own parents. Now, in the previous interview, which I had not yet analyzed when I did my last video, I heard Andre make a reference to communicating with Andreen. He stated that Andreen tell him a whole bunch of bad word people. That when she called him and they were having a discussion, she immediately started to suspect that he was recording her. That even when he affirmed no, that he was not recording her, she got really irate and she tell him a whole heap of bad word. Now, I know that this means that many people are going to look at Andreen as though she's not worth the time of day. But I'm going to say this. Andreen has been used throughout this process. I am not going to go into too much details yet as to what I know. But many have capitalized on her and her pain and grief in order to financially benefit. And as such, she is highly suspicious. Highly suspicious of anybody who is coming round, claiming they have a platform, wanting to put her on, under public scrutiny, wanting to use her in their shows, and so on and so forth. It is an understandable reaction. And I don't think it's fair that people be too judgmental where she's concerned, because you don't really understand what going on behind the scenes, and that's me I go left it. Because you know what I'm saying, every day bucket go well, one day the bottom I go drop out. So we will not go into the details of that until the time is necessary. Anyway, guys, we will continue to keep abreast of what is taking place with the Jaden Smith case and to update you accordingly. If you have made it this far into the video, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, click that bell if you're new to my channel, so every time I drop a video, you are notified. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.